your cell phone. And then I'm going to ask everybody to please stand up and we will recite the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So this goes to James Palmer, Town of Sebago Constable in the Town of Sebago in the County of Cumberland. Greetings. In the name of the State of Maine, you are hereby required by law to notify and warn the inhabitants of the Town of Sebago, qualified by law to vote in town affairs, to meet at the Town Hall in said Town of Sebago at 6 p.m. on Tuesday, the 23rd day of June 2026, to act on the following. Article 1, to choose a moderator to preside at said meeting. Are there any nominations for a moderator?
I'll make a motion to Bill Stockmeyer as moderator.
Second.
We have a nomination for Bill Stockmeyer and a second. Are there any other? Bill Stockmeyer, swear that you will support the Constitution of the United States of this state, so as long as you shall continue a citizen thereof, so help you God. And do you, Bill Stockmeyer, swear that you will faithfully discharge to the best of your abilities the duties incumbent on you as moderator of this annual town meeting in the Town of Sebago set forth on this 23rd day of June 2026, according to the Constitution and laws of the state, so help you God.
Thank you.
All right, and once Bill gets up there, I'll hand the mic over to him.
Okay, so first of all, how is that? Can you hear me?
No.
How's that? Is that better? No?
Can you hear me?
How about that? Okay. If I forget and you can't hear me, just speak up, wave your hand. I want to be sure you can hear me. Okay. Before we get started, just a couple of rules of the road. We'll be generally following the rule of the Maine Moderator's Manual. Is there any objection to that? Hearing none. My understanding is the ballot clerks have already been sworn in by Letitia. If you'd like to address the meeting, I'd like to have you use the mic. I actually have a pretty loud voice and none of you could hear me, so you may think you have a loud voice, but if you want the meeting to be persuaded by what it is you have to say, please use the mic in front there. My understanding is, by past practice, the town allows motions to consolidate separately designated warrant articles. If there is such a motion at tonight's meeting, to expedite things, here's how I propose we proceed. I'll ask if there's any objection to the motion to consolidate. If there's no objection, the motions will be consolidated for purposes of your discussion and voting, okay? If there is an objection, we will treat that as a motion to consider articles out of order requiring a 2/3 vote. And we'll vote on whether to consolidate or not, okay? And then depending on the result of that vote, we either will or we won't consolidate. As far as rules of debate, the main one that you should be reminded of, I think, is always that we want to be fair to the people that wish to address the meeting, but we also want to be fair to the people that need to move on. And so the way we handle that is, you're the legislators of the town. This is actually not a meeting of the Board of the Select Board. It's a meeting of you folks, the legislators of the town. It's within your power to cut off debate. The way you do that is by making a motion called previous question. So you can say, I move the previous question, or I move that we vote now. Now, that'll be fair to everybody because that also requires a 2/3 vote to pass. So we won't cut off debate unless there's a 2/3 vote. Most of the time, in my experience, it becomes pretty clear that it's time to vote without that motion, in which case there's no one speaking. I will just proceed to vote, lead us in a vote on the article. And then finally, other than that, I'll establish rules to limit debate only as it becomes necessary. Usually it's not necessary, sometimes it is, but we'll deal with that if we have to. Any questions about the rules of procedure? Can you still hear me? Good. Okay, I'll read the article. I'll ask for a motion in a second to get it on the floor. That can be as simple as so moved, okay? Get it on the floor, and second. Once it's on the floor, it's open for discussion and debate. So let's start with Article 2. Article 2, to see if the town will vote to permit municipal administrators or staff, school department administrators or staff, and elected state officials who are not residents of Sebago to speak as appropriate when recognized by the moderator. Do I have a motion? Second?
Second.
Article 2 is on the floor. Any discussion? Okay, I forgot to mention the way we're going to vote is by raising your orange voting cards, okay? And I should also mention, if you're not a voter, you should be in the back section behind that rope, okay? All right, so now we'll proceed to a vote. All in favor of Article 2, raise your cards. Thank you. All opposed, raise your cards. Thank you. Article 2 carries. Article 3. Shall an ordinance entitled, quote, amendments to the land use ordinance of the town of Sebago to include A, the addition of asphalt paving, concrete and cement plants as new uses, B, the amendment of street standards to include design and construction standards for private roads and backlot driveways, and C, the addition of other administrative improvements, close quote, be enacted. Do I have a motion on Article 3? Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion on Article 3? Seeing none, let's vote. All in favor, raise your cards. Thank you. All opposed, raise your cards. Thank you. Article 3 carries. Article 4. Shall an ordinance entitled, quote, nuisance alarm ordinance, close quote, be enacted? Do I have a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Article 4 is on the floor for discussion. Any discussion of Article 4, which is the nuisance alarm ordinance? Yes, please come to the mic. If the mic is clear and you wish to speak, just feel free to get up and come to the mic and I'll recognize you. If you start with your name, that'd be great.
Bev Buxton, I live on Anderson Road. I have a question regarding the draft ordinance. I think it's on either the second or the third page where it discusses the number of allowable nuisance alarms. I don't see a number, so I don't know if I'm missing something.
It's in the ordinance itself.
Oh, I'm gonna, sorry. Yeah, it's number, paragraph 5. Am I missing something? False alarm allowance. Each alarm user shall be allowed up to blank false alarms per calendar year.
Okay, who's going to straighten this out for us?
Chief's behind you.
Right behind you. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Phil Strike, Fire Chief. That was on my, you beat me to it, but
Okay, all right.
I did notice that there was a typo in that from our multiple drafts, but number 5 should state each alarm user shall be allowed up to 3 false alarms per year. It's just a typo, it just needs to be amended to it. I don't know how that got missed, but that was in our multiple drafts and somehow it got missed on the final. Because it referenced back to, bear with me a second. I think it's under number 6. It'd be, the numbers are off too, so it should say number 1 instead of number 2, and then number 3 should say number 2. But in the notice of the 4th or more alarms during a calendar year, that's when the fines kick in. So it's just a typo that just needs to be addressed.
Yes, ma'am. State your name.
Karen Wiles, Sebago Road. Correct me if I'm wrong, according to the town website, they put out a guide to town meeting. We cannot amend or adjust any ordinance that comes before?
That's correct. If there's a substantive change, either the ordinance has to be withdrawn or enacted and then subsequently amended the next time around at a meeting. So that'll
Is
be
that at a select board meeting or is that at a town meeting?
town meeting. Sorry? Yeah, I mean, a typo can be substantive if it's a change in the number of alarms, right? If it's,
We voted on what he stated, but there's a typo, so.
if the typo is just the numbering of the paragraphs or the A, B, and C, I think we can amend those. That's non-substantive.
This was discussed at the hearing, though, and was covered with the original submittal of the ordinance at the hearing, and it was covered at that time.
Thank you, Alan. Will you turn that mic up?
So you have to speak right into it. Do you mean his mic or the one?
The one, yeah, all of them. You guys need to move your mics closer so we can hear you. Sorry.
So right now, the choices are, if there's a motion to make a non-substantive amendment, that would be in order. If there's a motion to make a substantive amendment, that would not be in order, okay? So before, maybe this is what you're proposing, but
Yeah, I think I'm agreeing with you.
Okay.
With what you said, if it's not proper, then
right.
Hi, folks. Rich Bianculi, Convene Road. I think what your chief was saying is that if you look at the provision for number 6, A2, or A3, they're talking about if the notice is the 4th or more. Thus, it could be inferred that you can have up to 3. So it's not really a typo, it's just an omission. And it's really not substantive because you can infer from the fact that 4 makes it a violation that 3 is okay. So I think you should pass it as originally intended.
Is there a motion for amendment or not? Remember, we can't make the substantive amendment. As the gentleman stated, the number is inferred, but if you're talking about the numbering of the paragraphs or subparagraphs, you can correct those as needed. You can correct the numbering of the paragraphs and subparagraphs if something's out of order. But since it's non-substantive, you could also enact it as it is since it's non-substantive, if it sounds like you may want to clarify this in the future, that would be substantive, you could correct the numbering at the same time.
I make a motion, we move the question as is. Seconded.
Okay, we moved the previous question, requires a 2/3 vote, all in favor. A yes vote means you want to vote on the article. A no vote means you want to debate this more, or you're confused and need some more questions, answered. So all in favor of the motion for the previous question, raise your cards. Thank you. All opposed, raise your cards. Thank you, the motion carries. Previous question's been moved on Article 4. So now we're voting on the article itself as written. All in favor of Article 4, raise your cards. Thank you. All opposed, raise your cards. Thank you. Article 4 carries. Are we doing a little better with the sound?
Yeah.
Okay. Article 5, shall an ordinance entitled, quote, Town of Sebago Fire Hydrant Ordinance, close quote, be enacted? Do I have a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Article 5 is on the floor. Any discussion? Seeing none, let's vote. All in favor, raise your cards. Thank you. All opposed, raise your cards. Thank you. Article 5 carries. Article 6, to see if the town will vote to authorize the select board to execute a quitclaim deed of the town's interest in real property, including the improvements and buildings thereon, located on tax map 021, lot 001, with a street address of 242 Sebago Road to Donald E. Berry and June S. Berry.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Article 6 is on the floor. Any discussion?
Good evening, everybody. Andrew Plummer, Convene Road. Just so everybody knows, this is the fire barn down on 114. Town abandoned it 2 years ago. It's supposedly going back to the Berries. That's how it should be done. You should vote yes. Thank you.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, let's vote. All in favor, raise your cards. Thank you. All opposed, raise your cards. Thank you. Article 6 carries. Now, I believe everyone has a copy of the warrant. Is that correct? Or was offered one when it came in? Okay, so I'm going to read the article, but not the detail below it, which is a whole series of numbers for different categories of amounts. Okay, I'll just read the article itself. Article 7, to see if the town will raise and appropriate by taxation and other revenues $1,350,258 to fund wages, salaries, stipends, and other expenses related to general government expenditures, including the list that you see there. Do I have a motion on the article?
So moved.
Second.
Do I have a motion and a second? Yes, sir. Why don't you come to the mic, please? Thank you. And your name again?
Paul White, I've been on the planning board for years, we've never had a stipend, don't feel any need for it now, others may, but I'm fine.
Any further discussion? Yes, ma'am.
Karen Wiles, Sebago Road. I want to highlight the town manager line has the wrong number on it. That was for the previous town manager's salary. That number, Mr. Moderator, how would we reduce that to the correct number?
The article is in the form of an open format to see if, no, it's in a closed format to see if the town will raise a specific sum of money. So it's a closed format as opposed to just to see what sum, so it can only be amended downward and can't be amended upward.
Correct. So how would I go about doing that?
If you have a motion, say I'd like to amend the town manager line from
I would
what it
like
is
to
what it
amend
is
the
you
town
want.
manager line from 93,860 down to 91,160, which represents the $90,000 he was contracted at.
Okay. And you also would like to make a similar amendment, say the same dollar amendment to the $1,350,258 in the total? at the top?
Do the math? I have the math. But not for that specific line, there's other adjustments as well.
Letitia will do them. Are there other?
Yes, I have
Okay,
others.
you want to do them one by one? Okay, so let's just take a minute here. So for everyone's understanding, the number in the article is 1,350,258, okay? Someone correct me if I'm wrong, but I am assuming that number represents the sum of the numbers in the column, starting with administration and going to planning board. Is that correct? Okay. So, to simplify things, if there are going to be amendments of each line, okay, I mean, these amounts really aren't the article. The article is the 1,350,258. So, let's do this. Let's do it in a single amendment, because we can only amend the article, not the detail, all right? So, because that's not part of the article. So, tell us all the changes you wish to make, we'll add them up, and we'll suggest that an amendment of that total downward to the 1,350,258 would be in order if that's what you want to do.
You want just the bottom number?
Yeah, the bottom number would be
Okay, I'm
great.
going to make a motion that we reduce this entire line from 1,350,258 to 1,285,378.
1,285,378.
378.
Okay, so, is there a second?
Second.
There's a second. Okay, so we're now on the amendment. So if there's any discussion of the amendment, I'll recognize you as to why you want to make that amendment, and then I'll recognize anyone else who wishes to speak on the amendment. So for everyone, just to keep up, the amendment is proposed to amend the amount in Article 7 downward from 1,350,258 to 1,285,378. And now I recognize you to speak on your own amendment.
That is a reduction to the Board of Selectmen stipend. That is a reduction to the town managers to reflect the contracted amount that he was offered, and a contractual wage adjustment to the CEO line to again reflect the new CEO, and the reduction of both stipends for the appeal board and planning board
Okay.
to zero.
Why don't you give the amounts of each reduction?
The reduction of Board of Selectmen, I'm recommending $13,250 for the total. I'm recommending $91,160 for the town manager, $103,425 for
Hold on. The town manager will be how much?
$91,160. That
Okay.
reflects the $90,000 he was offered. The CEO planner from $135 to $103,425. That is his contractual.
103,425.
Yes, that is his contractual amount.
Okay.
And the reduction of the appeals board and planning board by the stipends, removing the stipends. So back down to $525 each.
The appeals and the planning board, you reduce those to zero?
No, $525.
525 each?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, let me explain why I'm asking for each individual total. This could be disputed later, but the real question is whether the sums are part of the article, okay, or not. You'll notice that the article says including colon, and it has a bunch of numbers. Some might say each of those numbers is part of the article, and the amendment is not only enforceable as to the total amendment, but as to each line. Others would say, possibly, if someone were to say those lines are not part of the article itself, then it's possible the amendment would be effective only as to the total. I don't know what the answer to that is standing here and now, but so the amendment is to amend the total down to 1,285,378, including the selectmen down to 13,250, the town manager, clerk, tax collector, town manager, just the town manager down to $91,160. The code enforcement officer / planner down to $103,425. And the appeals board and planning board down to $525 each. So that's the total amendment. And there was a second, I believe, on the amendment. That's on the floor. Sir, I recognize you to discuss the amendment.
I agree with Aaron regarding the stipends for the appeals board and the planning board. I honestly think they should be zero. We've never gotten stipends in the past. I don't know what would change that now. The thing that bothers me about that is we weren't asked. You didn't talk to the board. You didn't talk to the boards. You didn't ask the planning board. You didn't ask the ZBA. You just took it upon yourselves. I appreciate the thought and all, but you gotta ask people. That's my issue with that. Can I make another amendment to this, or do I have to wait?
Well, since this is a budget item, if we amend the amendments, we're going to get hopelessly confused.
Oh, I know.
But
That's
you
why I'm
can
asking.
wait, because once the article either is or isn't amended, when we vote on it, the original article or the article is amended will be back on the floor, and you're not precluded from making another amendment.
Excellent, thank you.
Okay, I'm going to recognize this lady first. She hasn't
Michelle.
spoken yet, and then
Michelle
it looks like
Strike,
there are at least two other people. Yes, ma'am.
Michelle Strike convene. It's my understanding the budget committee is what came up. It was not to do with the select board asking or not asking. They just said, yeah, that looks reasonable, and put it to a vote. So I don't blame you guys. That's the budget committee.
The select board,
Sir, hold on. I said I would recognize these folks first, and I can recognize you in a bit. This woman is next, and then I'll recognize you.
Okay, I just wanted to speak as chair of the
Sorry,
budget
you're
committee.
not
because,
next. This one's next. Sorry.
Yeah, it's starting to feel a little chaotic, and what would be helpful in terms of being able to vote on these is having a better understanding of why each amount increased, because we're aware in the public that, so for example, that there is a proposed increase for the select board members. I'm not quite clear from this what exactly that increase is, and let me just say at the outset, I think the select board works very hard, I think the appeals board works very hard, and the planning board works very hard, and you should be compensated where you're expending your own private resources to benefit the town. That's not the issue. The issue is we have a lot of expenses. We want to make sure that, I personally think that given the current situation with all of the very high tax increases that we've had recently, that we have limited resources and we have to spend them in the most wise way that we can. So for example, in my opinion, because select boards come and go, but our town staff, we hope, stays for the long haul, that we are first making sure that our town staff are competitively and adequately compensated so that we can keep them for the long haul. Because I think right now one of the biggest problems that we've had is we've had so much staff turnover. So my concern regarding these increases in stipends isn't that I don't think those stipends should exist. It's more, let's have a discussion about what is the increase? Is it really necessary? Is it necessary at this point in time, given all the other expenses that the town has? And first and foremost, are we making sure that our town staff, the people who run this town on a day-to-day basis, that we have adequate staff, that they are competitively compensated and trained and appropriately taken care of? Because if we keep them, your jobs will be a lot easier.
Thank you, ma'am. I'm going to allow someone who can answer a question to speak before you, just so people don't get confused. There was a question about what are the reasons for these increases. Is there someone who can address that, who wishes to address that? Go ahead, sir.
So I'm Rich Biancoli. I was the chair of the budget committee this year. and just so everyone knows, the budget was presented to the budget committee by the town manager. It was presented as the town manager's proposed budget. The town manager gathers those figures from the representative town employees who ask for certain money requests so that they can fund their departments. It's my understanding that either the town manager or the select board proposed these new stipends because it sounds like the planning board and the ZBA did not propose any of their stipend increases. And when we initially received the first increase for the proposed select board stipends, the initial proposal was to go from $3,200 to $10,000 per select board member. And the budget committee did not recommend that. We actually brought it down to the number that you see in front of you. We could have brought it down further, but in the end, the select board picks the number, so they get to set their own salaries just like Congress does. Just so we're frank about that. So I would like to know who has proposed the initial stipend of $50,000 for the select board, and who has approved this $35,750 stipend for the select board, as well as the $3,025 stipend for the appeals board, and the $5,525 stipend for the planning board.
Mr. Moderator,
Yes, sir.
may I have the mic?
Yes.
Richard Merrick. So the difference between...
Closer.
Right up to the mic. Just to clear this up, can you hear me now?
Get close to the mic.
To hear...
Yeah.
Right? Okay. So to clear this up, Karen is suggesting that $1,350,258, which is the article, be reduced to $128,500. $1,285,378. The difference is $64,880. So we're talking $65,000. The big increase here, and the budget committee did a hell of a job. They held this budget very closely. The increase for our town employees is 3.25%. Right around that, that's inflation. That's what we talked about. The increase in the stipend for the select board, I think, is 198%. Now, what kind of message does it send to our employees when management's going to take 198 and staff gets 3.25? I'm voting against this.
Okay, just to be clear to everybody, what we're going to be voting on is the amendment, right? Just so everyone's clear, which you can vote for or against. Let's see.
We still have a question on the floor, Mr. Moderator. I'd like an answer to my
I thought your question was who proposed the increase to the selectmen line, the stipend lines for appeals and planning board, and the third was?
That's it.
That's it, okay. Is there someone who can and wishes to answer that question? Yes, sir.
I was one of them that put this to bringing up the selectmen's stipend. I admit that. The selectmen jobs changed a lot, and it does have to do with us retaining good health. This town has to start thinking about paying health to get good health. And the select board, that stipend has been the same for a long time. It was $2,500 for years, and then it went up to $3,000, and now it's at $32,000. It's the lowest stipend that the town officials get. It's one of the lowest. And the reason I did it is because we are spending multiple hours there all the time, and it's a lot. When you hire a town manager, we have meetings every day of that week. There's a lot to being a selectman, and you don't understand it until you sit in this seat. So that's what I gotta say about it.
No, I appreciate that, and I respect every member of this select board. I just think for the past 5 years, we've had 5 town managers in that same amount of time. And until you pay your town manager what it takes to keep your town manager in that seat and make your life a whole lot easier, that is the sentiment of this entire town, and you're seeing it on the community page over and over again. If you don't pay a professional to do the work, then you end up doing the work, you end up micromanaging the town manager. The staff doesn't get the support they need because the town manager doesn't have any time because he's responding to every one of you all the time instead of responding to you at the select board meetings. So I strongly recommend that if you do make any amendment to these numbers, that you increase the salary for your town manager and lighten the load on every select board member so that folks actually want to participate in this civil government that we have here. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am, I'll recognize you next.
Annette Thomas, Sebago Road. The other question that was not answered is who suddenly wanted to pay the zoning board of appeals and the planning board when they had not received stipends in the past?
That was me.
I'm sorry?
That was me.
Okay, without asking either the ZBA or the planning board?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I recommended that they get some kind of stipend, yes.
So if you...
just to be, if I can just interject. So we're starting to have a lot of question back and forth, like this is a public hearing of, someone. This isn't a public hearing. This is your legislative body. So I'll allow another question after that. I'm going to recognize somebody else to speak. And then ultimately, I can allow you to speak if we're still going. Okay?
I had no more questions. That was a previous question that wasn't answered, so I was just bringing it forward. If the zoning board of appeals usually maybe has, I don't know, you could answer, maybe 3 meetings a year, so that would be, divide by 5 is 605. For each member, that would be, if they have 3 meetings, that's $200 a meeting for them to appear to make a judgment. I think that's excessive. The planning board I can't speak to honestly in that regard, but even if we give the select board a 5% raise, it would equal about $17,500 instead of $35,750. And 5% again is more than we are giving our town employees, which I don't think is right. If you want to keep your town employees, I agree with Rich. If you want to keep your town manager, I wouldn't lower his pay, but I would lower theirs and put it towards our help instead so that we can keep good office people and a good town manager. Thank you.
Okay, I'm going to allow a further response to the question. Sorry, I thought you had finished your response, but I'll allow you to continue. Then this lady would like to speak, and then all I'll say is if someone wants to move for a previous question, my sense is we're starting to repeat ourselves. I'll entertain that motion. If you want to keep debating this, we can do that as well, okay? You first.
I was one that recommended that, and yes, I did that because of a couple of reasons. I felt that in today's world, everybody has full-time jobs. Some of them are more demanding than others. Some of them where we're trying to get people to come up and do these volunteer positions, and we're not getting them. It's very, very, very hard to get people to sit up in these seats and to do the job, do the work, do the research, take the time, take the hours on the weekends. The goal was to allow some of the younger parents to come in if they needed babysitting money or additional care, that they could utilize some of these stipends to support that. If they didn't have extra, if they run tight budgets in their homes, if someone has a sound or a good idea about being part of the community and wanting to volunteer their time, the goal was to support them in their decision to help this town. Wasn't meant to put anything on the table to say, hey, these guys need more money. It was meant to attract appropriate people to come in here, and if they needed the stipend for support, financial support, that's why it was recommended. And I don't think anybody understands, you don't have to agree with me or not, this is the real world out there. I have a full-time job, I'm on the road, I come in from Connecticut to do this job half the time. So there's a lot of sweat equity that goes into these jobs, whether you're selectmen, planning board, or ZBA, the hours and the amount of research that you have to do to get an answer to support the town. It's not just say, oh yeah, here we go. Oh, you don't want this? Nope. It's not like that anymore. You have to research. You have to know what you're doing because guess what? If you don't do it right, you got to get sued. So that's why I recommended it.
Okay, I'm going to recognize you next, and then if someone wants to make a motion, move the previous question, I'll recognize that. But go ahead, ma'am.
Thank you. Terry Welch from Kimball Corner Road. I reviewed the select board meeting records and counted 41 meetings during the past year, including special and emergency meetings. At the proposed $7,000 a year, that works out to be approximately $171 per meeting per select board member. I just want voters to have that information. I understand that the select board members spend lots of their time preparing meetings and handling other responsibilities outside of their meetings, but I believe having those numbers are important for us to consider whether this increase is appropriate or not. And I would just like to say that many people volunteer in this town, and some people think that the volunteers aren't treated properly.
Thank you. All right, previous question is moved. Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, so now we're voting on cutting off debate. The debate we're cutting off would be the debate on the downward amendment. All right? So all in favor of cutting off debate, raise your cards. Thank you. All opposed, raise your cards. Thank you. The motion carries. So now we proceed to a motion on the amendment. Now, just so everyone's clear, we're not voting on the article as written, we're voting on the amendment. The amendment was to amend the total down from $1,350,258 to $1,285,378 with the line-by-line downward amendments represented by that overall amendment as previously discussed. Okay, so that's the amendment. So if you're in favor of the downward amendment, you're going to vote yes. If you're against it, you're going to vote no. Everyone be clear on that? Okay, all in favor of the amendment, raise your cards. Thank you. All opposed to the amendment, raise your cards. Thank you. The amendment carries. Okay, so now we're on the article as amended downward to $1,285,378. Any discussion on the article as amended? Yes, sir.
Andrew Plummer, Convene Road. In the administration budget, in the administration line, I think you'll find there's $150,000 for attorney's fees. Is that correct? Yes, thank you. I'd like to make a motion to cut that in half, $75,000.
Okay, is there a second? Okay, there's a second. So the motion is now to, the motion in sub and substance, if everyone could be quiet for a minute, please, I'll explain. He wishes to amend the article as amended downward, okay? He might have made an amendment to move it upward, halfway between the original and that. We can only deal with one amendment at a time, as I said before, but no one is precluded from their amendment. Now, in sum and substance, this is an article to further amend Article 7 downward by $75,000. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Or do you want to keep the overall total the same and?
Nope.
Okay.
Drop the total by $75,000. I'm sorry. I didn't
So,
catch that
okay,
last
so
time.
your amendment is to drop the total down by another 75, which would be $1,210,378, and to have that would be reflected in the administration line, going down $75,000. Does everyone understand the amendment? If you don't understand the amendment, raise your hand and we'll go through it again.
What category is it? Sorry.
The category is administration.
What subcategory is that?
It's under 7, Article 7.
Is it for legal or what?
Legal, yes.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. It's been amended and seconded. Do you wish to speak on it?
I do.
Go ahead.
This town's been at war.
Excuse me. It's been moved and seconded, not amended and seconded. I misspoke. Go ahead. That was my mistake, not yours.
This town's been at war with a local place in town, with lawyers. This town spent over $150,000 on one legal battle in town. I probably shouldn't name names. Rockcraft. This town spent $150,000 on attorney's fees for Rockcraft alone this year. Let's be see that's $25,000 above our budget. I'm curious to know where the extra money comes from, just so we're clear. I'd like to make other motions to add to this, but I can't because I can only change the numbers. I'd honestly like to require the select board to report to us every time they spend more than $25,000. They're fighting a losing battle. Sorry to say that. They went to the appeals board shot it down. They're appealing the appeals board's decision with our money. $150,000 worth of our money, just so we're clear. One item, folks, one item. I just don't agree with it, I'm sorry.
Thank you. Any further discussion of the amendment? Yes, sir. Thanks for speaking up. Let me add for everyone's benefit, I have these progressive lenses, so I have zero peripheral vision. So appreciate your speaking up.
Thank you. I'd like to clarify those numbers.
Thank you.
As of the last warrant that we received, and you gotta bear in mind this number is gonna be low. Sorry, okay. Is that better? Yes. Okay. That number that we have, that I'm gonna talk about right now is low by about probably 6 weeks of billing. Billing always rolls a month in arrears. We've got 2 more weeks to go of this year, basically, or a week. So what I came up with on the last warrant, which was this cumulative year, up to June 15th, was a total legal expense of $203,872.39. For Rockcraft alone, it was $156,735.99. So if you take Rockcraft out of the equation, the original $50,000 budget would have been just about on. What we've got going on is a situation where we were told by legal that the number was going to go haywire. And this board, on a 3-2 vote, voted to pursue Rockcraft. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Yes, ma'am, you're next. Come right up.
Michelle Strike. Obviously, I'm not a fan of spending tons of money, but from my understanding with Rockcraft is they did a direct violation after they were told not to do something, and they did it anyways. And what kind of precedent are we gonna set if we, because we don't wanna fight, we say, oh, fine, then you're gonna have every place doing it, sort of like how across the lake, that gentleman tore things down he shouldn't have and did something to the shoreline. They just would rather pay the fine than actually do the right thing. And so I don't want to spend money on Rockcraft, but I sure as heck don't want to show them that just because they have money, they can do whatever they want.
We're illegal with this, so we gotta be careful. It's in courts. Okay, so we've got to be careful about how we discuss this. We need to be careful about discussing this. We are still in the courts. So, just warning everybody, we're still in legal with it.
Rich Meekley, Convene Road again. You know, my wife does not want me to speak at all in regard to this because we own a wedding venue, but I wholeheartedly agree with Michelle Strike on this. For the first time, I agree with Michelle on something. If you review the planning board hearing for Rockcraft, I had to do it. All of the evidence was in favor of the town. And the planning board voted with our hearts. And I understand voting with your hearts and you think you're doing the right thing, but when all the evidence is with the town and your code enforcement officer, and you abandon that code enforcement officer and choose to vote just to allow Rockcraft to keep doing whatever they're doing, they didn't go for site plan approval. When I came to this town before we bought our house, I went to pre-planning approval. I went to pre-application approval. I got that, then I bought my house. Then I went to site plan approval. Rockcraft did none of that. And they say they're not a wedding venue, but they are. Okay, so that's dirty pool. I don't like it. I probably won't say it to their faces, but It is. Just watch the planning board video and you'll see.
I think you need to see
Mr. Moderator, can I speak?
I've got a few people here. Who do I have here?
Hey, stop.
Go ahead, sir.
I just want to speak to this, that it's in the courts, and there is a lot of violations there, and we're doing the best we can to make it, do what's best for the town. And without you guys knowing all the information, because we can't tell you, but there's violations there that if we do not do what we do, the state or the DEP could come back on this town itself.
When does the bleed
Okay,
stop?
hold on. Please don't speak out. Was there someone back here who wanted to speak? We're good there? Yes, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am. I got someone who's not a resident. Unless you're an official who is approved to speak, we'd have to vote to allow you to speak.
Moderator, that's Rockcraft.
We can't.
We can't respond.
We can't debate this.
We can't debate this.
If you can't respond, then you can't respond. But that's entirely up to you.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is, the person is sitting in the non-voter section, so unless this meeting is going to allow them to speak, they're not allowed to speak.
Thank you.
There was a woman here that in purple that I was going to recognize.
I want to make 2 points. The 2 points are, while I agree with you, what they're doing is wrong. What they're doing is wrong. And it feels like it sets a precedent. But I'd like to note a couple of things. The attorney that we use is a partner in her firm. The partner in the firm likes to make money for the firm because they get a part of that money as a partner.
Gotta shut this down. We can't.
That's number one. Number two, I'd like to make a note that...
Hold on, can we just come to order? So
I won't be involved.
you've been encouraged not to speak about this.
Okay.
I can't prevent you from speaking about this.
Okay, I won't speak about the attorney, but my other point is that they have more money than we have when it comes to town spending. And they will continue the fight on and on and on until we have nothing. And our taxes are doing nothing but paying for a legal battle against Rockcraft. And that is foolish. I'm sorry, but we have had a person in our neck of the woods do all kinds of illegal things that the town should never have approved. And the town was not sued by the DEP, but the DEP did go after that person individually. And that is what I would suspect would happen to Rockcraft. If they break the law, DEP will come after them. They will have to pay fines, and that's what happened in our neck of the woods. DEP did not sue the town for what they allowed in our neck of the woods. They sued the people. They went after the people. Rockcraft has more money than God, and they'll continue to fight.
Okay, I want to make a motion to move the...
Does someone want to move the
We gotta
previous question?
Move the question.
Yes. Is there a second?
It's second. Can't get into this.
Come to order, please. Sir, I realize you're raising your hand, but because there's a strong sense that further discussion of this could jeopardize the town's litigation, I recognize the person who moved the previous question. And that's been seconded. So before I recognize you, if people, now to be clear, this requires a 2/3 vote. So it's speaking to all of you, including people that are waiting to speak. You're only going to be cut off if 2/3 of the people are ready to vote on the amendment, right? So it's not unfair to you. You've got a lot of articles to get through. Okay, I know people begin to feel passionate about these things. However, it's also within the power of this body to turn down the motion for the previous question if they want to keep speaking, even after having been told that this could prejudice the town's position in litigation. So that's going to be up to you. You're the legislators at this meeting. The previous question has been moved. The previous question cuts off further debate on this second downward amendment. If it passes, we proceed to a vote on the amendment. If it doesn't pass, we continue to discuss the amendment. and let's try to discuss the amendment rather than particulars, okay? So, all in favor of the previous question, raise your cards.
Moving it?
Moving it?
I'm sorry, there's been a motion that was seconded to move the previous question. So all in favor of cutting off debate, raise your cards. Okay? All opposed, raise your cards. Okay? That 2/3 vote passes. So that cuts off debate on the Second Amendment. We're now going to vote on the Second Amendment. The Second Amendment is to reduce the article as already amended once downward, to reduce it down by another $75,000, specifically the administration line. Okay, so if you're in favor of the downward amendment, you're going to vote yes. If you're against it, you're going to vote no. All in favor of the amendment, raise your cards. Thank you. All opposed, raise your cards. Thank you. The amendment carries. Okay. So the new amount is, for Article 7, is $1,210,378. I believe Letitia's double checking my math. So we're now on the article as twice amended. We still haven't passed the article as amended. Are there any further discussion now on the article as twice amended? Yes, ma'am.
First of all, my apologies if I'm a little bit confused. I also have a hearing impairment, so it's difficult to keep track of everything that's going on. Are we at the point where we can make another amendment to the article?
Yes.
Okay. I would like to propose an amendment to return the salary of the town manager to $93,860. I would like to return the salary of the code enforcement officer planner to $135,605.
Do you have the total for your amendment? Do you have the total for your amendment?
Let's see here. I'd have to go. Can anybody have this up? So what
Letitia's look,
Thank you.
she's
Thank you,
gonna-
Carolyn.
This is
I'll
the-
be fine.
All right, so the article, the 1,210,378. So now I just need to take the differences of all of these and add those back in, correct?
Yep.
Where-
Thank you.
This,
Okay, while you're doing that, is there any further discussion on the article as amended twice? Yes, ma'am.
In reference,
Oh, I'm sorry, you can't do both, take notes and,
I can't, so if someone
So-
else wants to do the financial piece of this,
so, ma'am, could I ask you to do the math on your amendment and then bring it forward if you care to bring it forward? I feel like Letitia has enough to do to take the minutes of the meeting, so that seems the fairest thing to me. Okay? Okay, yes, ma'am, now we can go to you.
so those reductions are to represent the contracted amount, which means the amount that the town manager agreed for his first year, the amount the CEO agreed to when he was hired. That is all those reductions were for. Thank you.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Excuse me, can I speak?
Yes, sir.
I think it shows the COLA increase in his salary for this year is what that price difference is.
Okay. Yes, ma'am.
What was presented to the budget committee was Michael's salary that included at least one COLA increase and his contractual amount. The amount that Mr. Davies was offered when he was hired was $90,000. That was confirmed with him today. Including the other lines under that are not wages. That's where that number comes in. That is training, mileage, etc. His contracted amount was $90,000 for the first year. That's it.
I would like to speak again, Ms. Moderator.
Yes, you can respond to that.
the contract we saw the contract, and the contract, we gave all of our employees a COLA increase, cost of living. And that would be standard, that he's an employee. I know he has a contract, but you still give the COLA increase as far as I know. And I will like to tell this town that the salary for town manager has dropped significantly from what Michael was getting by the note of like $6,000 to $7,000. So it's still less than we were paying the year prior. And you guys just said we have to pay our employees better. There's your answer.
Any further discussion? We're
I
on
wanna bring
Article 7,
something
it's
else
twice
up.
amended. Yes, ma'am.
I want to bring something out about the code officer and that line item. Just understand that that's for the department. Because if you remember, we had a code officer, we also had an assistant, and we need planning services as well. So just keep that in mind when you're voting, because now you're subtracting from the town on areas where we're going to have to subcontract out. So just please keep that in mind. Letitia, this is my total.
Any further discussion? Yes, ma'am.
I did the math. I don't know, you might want to correct me if I'm wrong.
Go ahead.
It adds another 34,880 back.
I got 32,880.
1,243,258.
That's
Oh,
what
I
we
had
got.
1,245,258.
You took the 93 and the 91, and then you added
Okay, maybe folks could go back and do their math and consult with the person who's proposing the amendment so we can get down to the number. Meanwhile, I'm going to recognize you.
I was just going to say I agree with Carolyn and Scott. I mean, you have to keep your town
You
employees.
could be seated. We're going to recognize this lady now. Thank you. And again, if you get your heads together about the amount and come up with an amendment.
My name is Kim Colson from Anderson Road. I'd like a little clarification on the planner. Last year at this same meeting, the town approved the position for a town planner. And that seems to have disappeared. And those responsibilities got put on the plate of the code enforcement officer. So I'd like an explanation, because at the point in time a year ago, it sounded like a planner was essential to the work moving ahead in this town. But now it seems like, well, we can just let anybody do it. So it just doesn't make sense to me, so I'd like some clarification on that, please.
Is there someone who'd like to respond?
I'll respond.
That's fine.
With our new hire, with our new CEO, he is very experienced and he should be able to do some of the planning service for us. But we will also need to hire an assistant like we had prior, and I think we'll be in good shape. And I think the planning service, that they were juggling the contract and they just wanted to keep going up and up on us, so we were trying to save money.
Okay. Hold on. Before I recognize you again, are you ready with your amendment?
So I can't give these numbers because, as I understand it, her amendment passed, right? So I
Both
don't
amendments
know what
passed.
these numbers are in my head to
Okay.
subtract from them.
Okay, so when if you have an amendment, I'll recognize you. And I'll recognize you now.
Kim Colson, Sebago again. Again, Scott, you've confused me even more by what you said there. Because it was my understanding that a planner has a very different role than a code enforcement officer. And if we have the same person in that body, then we're not getting the checks and balances necessarily done that are essential in this. Because, if the code enforcement officer is the planner, then they're just going to let things go wild rather than have the two individuals that we really spoke about at the last year's meeting.
All right, so I'm going to answer it a little differently. Maybe this will clear things up, okay? So we had a code officer in place at the time who was doing a lot of we also hired a planning service company as well. We also wrote our ordinances to support a town planner. So at the time, when we found out that our previous code officer was doing the majority of the minors, we found that we were basically looking at the planning services and we were overspending. So we gave her a title of code officer / planner. So we could save the town money and not use Sebago Tech as much, only on major projects.
It sounds
So
like
now
you-
we have ordinances in place, okay? Legally, we can't change every ordinance in one shot. We'll be here for 2 days.
It sounds like you got rid of the checks and balances in the town, so that's what my concern is.
Okay.
No, because we still
Okay.
need those services.
We
There's certain,
could- That's enough debate. We want to avoid debate.
so can I answer the money part, because I did the math?
No, she's going to bring her own amendment at some
Oh,
point.
she
okay?
is?
She
Okay.
does. She wishes to. If you wish to consult with her, you can go over and consult with her.
He can ask me.
I believe this woman had her hand raised, and I'd like to recognize you next. Yes, ma'am.
Tina Vaness, 42 Sebago Road. I've been on the planning board for about 16 years. The planner was sort of forced on us, and all of the ordinances were written to include the planner. The code enforcement officer can do the job with the assistant. The planner, the service is there if the code enforcement officer has a major project or has a question as to what they should do. He or she then has the right to contact the services to ask their opinion. We do not, and I repeat, do not need to have the planner at all of the planning board meetings and spending, costing the town as many thousands of dollars as it did the past couple of years. It is not necessary. If you hire a code enforcement officer that knows what they're doing, then you have the right person in place and they know what to do. But we are not Wyndham, we are not Portland, we are Sebago. 1,800 citizens. Correct?
Yes. Tina, I agree with your comment 100%.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Thank you. You know, people misread how to use a planner. We started collecting escrow accounts that were going to pay for the majority of the cost of the planner. Unfortunately, when the prior town manager saddled the CEO with monitoring the escrow accounts, he never told her how to use them. So the escrow accounts sit there, probably at this point unmonitored. When that money was supposed to be used to cancel the expense of the planner, and if it all worked out right, the planner would cost very little. So the escrow accounts still sit there. We need to work on a financial system in this town, and we need to make sure that the money in the escrow accounts, when an application is before the planning board, gets tapped to pay for the services of the planning. That never happened. So the comment that the planner was too expensive is invalid because they never took the money out of the escrow accounts to help pay for the plan. So there's plenty of confusion to go around here. And we need some education on our staff, and we need to redo our finances in this town so that you don't have part of the money in escrow under the CEO. That's not his job. But that's a finance piece. We have money being collected cash and so forth by the rec director. That belongs in some kind of electronic readout in one account and handled by the finance office. We have money collected at the transfer station. And there's money every place in this town. All the money needs to go through one set of hands and be accounted by one set of hands in this town. And if we can get there, we can save a lot of strife in this office. Thank you.
Okay, before we proceed, certainly all the discussion thus far falls within the scope of the article, which is expenditures for a pretty broad range of things. But if you notice, we're starting to talk about policy, we're starting to talk about history. And I just want to be clear, everybody understands, currently there's no amendment on the floor, maybe there will be. Currently what's on the floor is the article is amended twice. And I would just like to focus you on either debating that further or someone making the motion to move the previous question to cut off debate. Do you have your amendment, ma'am, at this point? Okay. The reason I interrupt is because, and I can stay here as long as you want, it's fine. We're on Article 7 of 28, and more than an hour has gone by. So just want to focus everybody on that. But go ahead.
So what my amendment proposes is an increase of $2,700 for the town manager, an increase of $32,180 for the code enforcement officer planner, bringing the total to $1,245,258.
Is that a total amendment of $34,880?
Yeah, I'm correct. Yeah.
Is that a total amendment of
We're not getting that number.
Was
We're not getting that
Was
number.
it 2,700 and 32,180?
So $2,700 increase for the town
Yep.
manager, and a $32,180 increase for the code enforcement officer.
Okay, so that totals $34,880.
That's correct.
Okay.
Yep, and then the.
All right.
Bringing
Is there a
the-
second to increase? Okay, there's a second to increase. All right, so for everybody, this is a motion to increase the current $1,210,378, which is the result of two downward amendments, there's kind of fine tuning here, if you will, to be increased by a total of $34,880, and I'll leave it to Letitia to do that math, by increasing the town manager by $2,700 and the CEO planning, do I have that right? CEO planner by $32,180. So that's the amendment. It was seconded. Any discussion of that amendment?
What are the two downward ones?
Well,
So I come up with 1,245,255.
Which two things went down?
Why not?
Lost track of what
hold on.
went down.
240.
We have
Okay, so but the question is, where are we now? Where we currently are is $1,210,378.
Not the total. Which items went up, which items went down? Because I've lost track.
In the first amendment,
In the First
Go ahead.
Amendment,
Go ahead.
Karen Wiles went down from 1,350,258 down to 1,285,378.
which items she wants to know?
Oh, okay, so let's see. Selectmen from 35,750 to 13,250. Town manager from 93,860 to 91,160. Code enforcement planner 135,605 down to 103,425. Appeals board and planning board down from 3,025 to 525 each. Yep.
Letitia, was that 103,425 or
103,425.
425?
Yes.
And then the second amendment,
The second amendment was to, Andrew Plummer made it to decrease it by 75,000.
75,000.
75,000.
To decrease administration down by
To
75,000.
decrease administration down by 70,000 linked to legal, am I correct?
75,000.
Yep. Okay.
Right.
Yep.
Okay. So we're at 1,210,378. The amendment would be to increase that by 34,880. Any further discussion? Yes, sir.
I'd like to move to end discussion.
Move to cut off debate. Is there a second? Okay. So if you vote in favor of this motion, you'd like to cut off debate on the third proposed amendment so that we can vote on it.
Yes, and I would like to remind everyone that we already went down, so why are we going
Sir,
back up?
sir, you've already moved the question, so you can't debate your own motion to move the previous question. All right, so, all in favor of cutting off debate, raise your cards. Thank you. All opposed? Great, that cuts off debate. We're now voting on the third amendment, which is to increase the article as twice amended by a total of $34,880 including $2,700 upward for the town manager and $32,180 upward for code enforcement planner. We're going to vote on that amendment. If you're in favor, if you vote yes, you're in favor of that upward amendment. If you vote no, you're against it. All in favor, raise your cards. Thank you. All opposed, raise your cards. The amendment fails. Okay, at this point, I'm going to just say that a motion to move the previous question on the article as now amended is in order. And is there a second? Okay. So now we're going to vote on cutting off debate altogether. We still, remember, we voted to amend the article a second time, but we didn't vote on the article as amended, right? Okay, so there's been a motion and a second to cut off debate. All in favor, raise your cards. Thank you. All opposed, raise your cards. Thank you. That cuts off debate. So now we're voting on Article 7 as twice amended, down to $1,210,378. Okay? No further debate. If you're in favor of that article as twice amended, raise your cards. Thank you. If you're opposed, raise your cards. Thank you. That carries. So Article 7 as twice amended is approved. Article 8, to see if the town will raise and appropriate by taxation and other revenues $850,749 for public safety expenditures. Do I have a motion?
So move.
Do I have a second? Is there a second?
Second.
Article 8 is on the floor. Any discussion on Article 8? Public safety. Seeing none, let's vote. All in favor, raise your cards. Thank you. All opposed, raise your cards. Thank you. Article 8 carries. Article 9, to see if the town will raise and appropriate $1,142,229.42 by taxation and other revenues for public works expenditures. Is there a motion and a second?
Second.
It's on, Article 9 is on the floor as written. Any discussion? Seeing none.
Discussion?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to see us start paving roads again.
Any further discussion? Yes, sir?
Select board members, do we have a priority list for the roads to be paved over the next year? That'd be wonderful.
We're working on it.
All right. Any further discussion of the article on the appropriations? Seeing none, we'll vote. All in favor of Article 9, raise your cards. Thank you. All opposed, raise your cards. Thank you. Article 9 carries. Article 10, to see if the town will raise and appropriate by taxation and other revenues $364,815.23 for health and sanitation expenditures.
So moved.
And seconded? Okay, it's on the floor. Any discussion on Article 10? Yes, ma'am.
I have two questions. Well, I have two comments. I'm curious as to why there's no accounting of fees at the transfer station. Like, they take money in, but we don't know where that goes or how much. Like, there's no daily accounting of how much has gone in and where that money has gone. That's number one. And the other thing is, I'm curious to know why one person brings a load in and it's this much money, and then another person brings a load in that's the same load and it's a different amount of money. Those things I think are problematic at the transfer station, and I just want to know, why is there no accounting of the fees that come in at the transfer station and where that goes?
Mr. Moderator, can I answer this?
Yes, sir.
The transfer station, they do write down what comes in on what the loads were and stuff. We are very aware that we need to update the system down there. We're trying to get it so we can have credit cards down there, and it's a work in progress. It's something that should have been brought to us, but it needs work. And we're aware of the problem, and as far as one load costs you one thing, one for another, you could have two different guys giving you two different prices, you know? And the way to solve this whole problem eventually is to buy a scale and weigh what comes in the future. Have a scale system.
I mean, we're talking about things like that.
I'm sorry, it's out of order. If we could stop the debate back and forth. Okay, questions asked, questions answered. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll vote. All in favor of Article 10, raise your cards. Thank you. All opposed, raise your cards. Thank you. Article 10 carries. Article 11, to see if the town will raise and appropriate $86,250 by taxation and other revenues for town property expenditures. Is there a motion?
So move.
Is there a second? Second. Article 11 is on the floor. Any discussion of Article 11? Yes, ma'am.
Karen Wiles again. I am going to make a motion to reduce Article 11 to $82,750 to represent that the Associated Cemeteries asked for zero money this year. They asked for their money that was approved last year to be rolled forward. They asked for zero.
Okay.
Small cemeteries.
We need a second.
I think $1,000.
Is there I'm sorry, ma'am, before we go, is there a second? No,
We need a
wait.
second for that.
We need a second. Would you like to second? Or are you against? Does someone wish to second that?
Second and third.
I'll second it.
Okay, it's been seconded. Now you can speak.
I think that the $1,000 is for the town cemetery on Hancock Pond Road. It is not for the small cemeteries, because what we asked for was going to be rolled over this year.
That's my point.
Okay, if we could come to order, ladies?
Ann?
Okay, hold on.
Ann, could you repeat that, please? What you said?
The $1,000 is for the Sebago Cemetery, which is the town cemetery on Hancock Pond Road, not for small cemeteries.
Can I speak to this?
Any further discussion on the amendment? Yes, I'll recognize you, sir.
I think the Sebago Cemetery up there that we have, I think it needs some improvements, like fence, split rail fence that's all broken down and stuff, and I think the shed that we have up there has issues. So I would support keeping that money there.
Any further discussion of the amendment? Yes, ma'am.
The Associated Cemeteries line is the one I'm referring to. That is actually supposed to be the small cemeteries. And again, they asked for the money to be rolled forward. They asked for zero this year.
Any further discussion?
Not correct.
Yes, ma'am.
Not correct.
Okay, just to make everything clear,
Thank you.
can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. There's only one association cemetery in the town of Sebago, which is taken care of by the association. That I have tried for 5 years to get changed to something else. It should be veterans flags, and it should be budgeted with the $1,500 that gets asked for every year, because by state statute, we are absolutely required as a municipality to put out flags for every veteran's grave in the town of Sebago. So that is a mistake on here. Veterans Park isn't even listed. Usually there's money budgeted for that just in case something happens and needs repair. And then the Sebago small cemeteries are not listed at all. And we are an actual committee appointed by the select board, and we deal with all of the 40-some cemeteries in the town of Sebago. And that's the one that Ann Farley was talking about, the funds being rolled over. So this is kind of a mess when it comes to the cemetery stuff, and I would question whoever put this information together, because it's not done very well at all.
Okay, so we're debating an amendment to amend Article 11 down from 86,250 to 82,750. Any further discussion on the amendment? Seeing none, we're now going to vote on the amendment. Okay, I'm getting some quizzical looks. So if you're in favor of this, you're in favor of the downward amendment, which is, I want to say $3,500. The downward amendment is $3,500. If you're opposed to the amendment, you'll vote no. All in favor of the amendment, raise your cards. All opposed, raise your cards. The amendment fails. We're now back to the article as written. Any further discussion before we vote? No, I'm not going to accept that. We're going to just declare we're ready to vote unless someone objects. Hearing no objection, we're going to vote on Article 11 as written. All in favor, raise your cards. Thank you. All opposed, raise your cards. Thank you. Article 11 carries. I appreciate the sentiment. I just wanted to speed it up a little bit. Thought we could do that. Article 12, to see if the town will raise and appropriate $149,795 by taxation and other revenues for recreation and community organizations expenditures. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? Was there a second? Second. Okay, it's on the floor. Any discussion? Sir, I recognize you. If you come to the mic.
You're going to say it pretty quick from here. We can put some money into fixing the tower on Douglas Mountain. It's got a big crack in it. Rocks come cheap around here, $100 or so more to fix it, so
That's all right.
Fixing
That's
the
all right.
tower, there's a big crack in it.
Thank you. Any further discussion? I don't know.
He said that we should put some money into the Douglas Mountain
If we could
Tower.
just come to order.
Sorry.
He was offered the mic, he declined the mic. We're on the next person.
I have questions for the rec department. 73475, when this recreation department was brought to light, it was supposed to be, supposed to pay for itself. And I think this is the increase from last year. I'm curious to know if we're keeping track of what's being made and what's being lost.
Anyone care to answer the question?
Well, that's why I'm rec director.
Anyone care to respond?
I mean, we are keeping track, I can tell you that, and the rec department, it's also for the senior citizens as well. So just keep that in mind. So it's really double.
All
Oh,
right,
here
I'm
comes
going to recognize...
This is the rec director.
We have
Yep.
invitation.
Yeah, we can, we voted outsiders.
We voted
Yeah,
to
she's a
allow
department.
officials to speak. I think you're fine.
My name is Donna Monti, I'm the rec director. This budget was created before I started, so I'm kind of figuring things out along with you all. I can promise that we will be bringing in revenue, but I just wanted to let everyone know that would also mean increased costs of recreation programs. That's the only way you can have recreation pay for itself. I just went through this with my old city. You have to charge more in order to pay for yourself. So as long as that's the case with residents, then I can definitely make that happen. Currently, being budgeted for like soccer and basketball, those things can eventually pay for themselves, but they do need a buffer to get started.
Thank you. Any further discussion?
Mr. Moderator.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to say that the rec department, I think, is a good step in a good direction. It's good for our kids and our seniors, and I think they're doing well, and I think she will do real well for this town. She comes with a lot of experience. That's all I'd like to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're on Article 12. As written, the amount of $149,795. Is there any further discussion? Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
Come up to the mic.
I was just going to answer the question.
I'm sorry, did you want to speak or did you just want her to speak?
I would like to speak.
Yeah, so come on up to the mic, please.
So the rec department.
Can I have your name?
Oh, Tammy Robinson.
I think you have to go right up, put your mouth about an inch from the mic to be heard.
Okay, I don't need the mic to make you hear me, but I'm just behaving here.
Just saying. So I'd like to speak to the rec department. I can't even begin to tell you how wonderful it is for these kids and for this town. These kids have a sense of positive reinforcement with everything that they do. They have coaches, they have parents out there cheering them on, and even the after-school program that they put on, those kids are totally involved with everything that's going on. The coach gives them high fives. I can't say enough good about the rec department, and I support it 100%.
Thank you. Any further debate? Yes, ma'am.
Kind of in response to Donnell, Veterans Park has been ignored. I'd kind of like to add that to the bottom, and I would vote that we...
I'm sorry, we're on Article 12. We're on Article 12.
I understand.
I can't recognize you on Article 11.
What I was going to say is that we
No,
add $2,000.
ma'am. I can't recognize you on Article 11.
I didn't know if Veterans Park could go under this.
You can't add money to the budget.
It's-
You can only decrease.
Any further discussion? Yes, sir?
I just want to respond to Mr. Plummer's question. The 73,000 went up from the salary of the rec director because they added an assistant for the after-school program, which does bring in money, and the money that's brought in, just like the money that you bring in for the transfer station, is not represented in any of these articles. It's represented on the revenue side, which is an offset of all of these numbers. So we do bring in money, we do offset a lot from the code enforcement office all the way down to the transfer station.
Thank you. Yes, sir?
For those who didn't hear me earlier, just get after the town, and you gotta fix the tower up on Douglas Mountain. It's getting a big crack, and it wouldn't really cost that much. But if you let too much ice in there, you're gonna have a problem. Thank you.
Any further discussion on Article 12, Recreation and Community Organizations? Seeing none, are we ready to vote? All in favor, raise your cards. Thank you. All opposed, raise your cards. Thank you. Article 12 carries. Article 13, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate by taxation and other revenues $590,000 to see if, Article 13, to see if the town will vote to raise and appropriate by taxation and other revenues $590,276 to fund the capital investment program reserves. If funding is reduced, it must be cut from the bottom up. This account is funded by priority from the top down. Any discussion? Let's get a motion on Article 13. And a second? Is there a second? I think I heard one. Okay. Article 13 is on the floor. Capital Investment Program Reserves. Any discussion? Yes, ma'am.
I would simply like somebody to go down through the list for us, because some of these deviations, I have no idea what they are.
Is there someone ready, willing, and able to go down the list and provide the abbreviations?
What they stand for?
Yeah, what they stand for.
Okay.
Not an explanation, just what they stand for. There are too many to explain every one.
Cardiac is a cardiac monitor. Cascade is a cascade system that fills air bottles. SCBA is our SCBA tanks for the fire. SCBA is the bottles that we use for firefighting that we have to replace it. It's an NFPA standard. Rescue boat is our rescue boat. A plow truck is a plow truck. I don't know what that one is.
That's the town reevaluation.
Reevaluation. Tank 1 is a fire truck. Tank 2 is a fire truck. Forestry truck is a fire truck. The park, is that the Veterans Park?
Nope, town hall,
The
park.
Town hall parking lot to be repaved and redone. Another plow truck, engine 1's fire truck, the backhoe is for public works, engine 3 is a fire truck. TS.
Transfer station
Transfer station
enhancements.
enhancements, well, fixing up the town transfer station, we need to get running water up there and stuff. Roll-off truck is for the transfer station. Server is for the town computers. PS, correct?
Public safety construct.
Public safety construct. Repeater is what we get out on our radios so we can talk to the fire department that's up on the tower. Grader is a grader. Pickup truck is a pickup truck. A 50-yard container is a 50-yard container that we use at the transfer station. It's an MSW can. Emergency generators are our generators.
The unanticipated.
Unanticipated weather is maintenance in case we have a problem, a storm or something. Fire department support vehicle is a fire department support vehicle. It's a fire. Woods buggy is a fire. Mechanical CPR device is a CPR that does compressions on your chest when you diamine. It keeps you alive, exactly. Cistern tank is a cistern tank to carry water for sprinkler systems and stuff like that. And a wheel loader is a front end loader that you fill. It's public works that you use it with loading the trucks.
Thank you. Any further discussion on Article 13? Seeing none, I think we're ready to vote. I can't hear you. Yes, ma'am.
So I'm looking at the TH Park for $41,396. Can you tell me what's going, are they just gonna retar it? Or are they, what's the $41,000 gonna go towards?
It's gonna go for the parking lot over here. It needs to probably have some catch basins put in. We have a thing going on with a drainage bed that we might need to bring back across the street, and it will get it so the water doesn't pool in the driveway. And it'd be a total rebuild on this parking lot out here, and it's been a long time.
Does that include putting the septic system from town into here instead of using?
Negative. No.
Any further discussion on Article 13? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, Donna Price, Nancy Road. So my question is, can someone tell me what the budget was for last year? Is this an increase of 10%, 20%, 30%? Is it a decrease? What was last year's?
Someone ready to answer that question?
No, it's not listed.
Rich, can you
It
answer?
might help if you just tell everyone what the CIP is and what it's for. We're not spending this money every year, we're saving up.
The CIP program is a capital improvement program. It puts money aside so when we buy equipment, town vehicles, and fix up parks, whatever we're doing, we're putting money aside so we can pay for it outright, is how this works. It's a good system because it works well, and then you don't have a bunch of bonds for paying for vehicles and stuff. You buy it outright.
And just, if anybody else had that question, it's decreased from the 27,000 from last year.
Any further discussion on Article 13? Yes, ma'am.
Michelle Strike, I just want to point out, if you go into your town report, we have the comparisons on the last 2 pages for what everything is done from previous years to now, so that helps.
Thank you. Any further discussion on Article 13? Seeing none, I think we're ready to vote. Okay. Article 13, in the amount as written, $590,276 for the Capital Investment Program Reserve. All in favor, raise your cards. Thank you. All opposed, raise your cards. Thank you. Article 13 carries. Article 14, to see if the town will vote to appropriate all undesignated revenues to include but not limited to excise tax, tree growth reimbursement, veteran exemption reimbursement, boat excise tax, town agent fees, town clerk fees, plumbing permit fees, building permit fees, revenue sharing, and miscellaneous revenues to be used to reduce the property tax commitment. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, raise your cards. Thank you. All opposed, raise your cards. Thank you. Article 14 carries. Article 15, for expenditures to service the public safety building bond debt authorized by Article 10 of the May 2022 town meeting, shall the town raise and appropriate $156,657 through taxes. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Yes, sir.
How many years are left on the debt? 10-year note, right?
Does anyone know how many years we're on the bond?
I think it was a 10-year bond.
This will be the fifth payment.
No. Hasn't been 5 years.
4 years.
2 years.
Any further discussion on Article 15?
What was the answer?
8 more years.
My name's Linda May. I just have an opinion that this should be taken out of undesignated funds rather than putting more tax burden on the residents of Sebago. It states
Thank
that-
you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, we'll vote. All in favor, raise your cards. Thank you. All opposed, raise your cards. Thank you. Article 15 carries. Article 16, to see if the town will vote to authorize the select board to appropriate up to $50,000 from the undesignated fund as they deem advisable to meet unexpected expenses or emergencies that occur during the fiscal year 2026-2027. Any use of this arrangement must be voted on at a select board meeting.
So moved.
Mr. Muller,
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay. Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion, we take Article 16 and 17 together.
Motion to consolidate Article 16 and Article 17. So Article 17 is to authorize the select board to appropriate up to $65,000 from the undesignated fund as they deem advisable to meet unexpected personnel emergencies that occur during the fiscal year 2026-2027. As I said before, I will allow the consolidation unless there's an objection. Is there any objection?
Objection.
There's an objection. So we're going to vote on the motion to consolidate. It will require a 2/3 vote. If you want to consider the two articles together, you're going to vote yes. If you want to consider them separately, you're going to vote no. So all in favor of the consolidation motion, raise your cards. Thank you. All opposed, raise your cards. Thank you. That carries by a 2/3 vote. So Articles 16 and 17 are now under discussion as written. Any discussion?
Hi, my name is Linda May. I have a question as to what is the unexpected personnel emergency and what would the $65,000 be used for in whatever these emergencies are?
Yes, sir. Go ahead, Dan.
That unexpected is for if we have to increase the salary to get qualified help to do a job. And it's for, you never know with, you've seen, we've gone through 5 town managers. Sometimes you can't get the best bang for your buck without putting a little more money on the table. And you gotta pay for good employees as a group.
Any further discussion on Articles 16 and 17 as written? Yes, ma'am.
Can you hear me?
No.
All right. Hi.
Right up to the mic.
Jesse, Sebago Road. I just have a question about, in the past, has the select board needed to appropriate this kind of money in the past? And if so, for what? seems like a significant amount of money to have sort of as a slush fund.
Mr. Moderator?
Go ahead.
In the past, we've had to use this for like unexpended stuff, like your truck blows up, you gotta fix it. And also with the personnel, it's, perfect example is town manager. You get a town manager and you can't get them for the money that you were paying, you gotta get more money.
Wasn't that already addressed in the CIP line items?
No.
No.
No, not at all.
Any further discussion?
Thank you.
Okay. Yes, sir.
The answer to that question is, where do you think the money came to pay the lawyers' bills? This is slush fund money, where if we goof it up, this is where we're going to get the money to pay the bills.
And to your point, that's my concern, is that Andrew was, we all supported Andrew in reducing those attorney's fees by $75,000, and I'm concerned that if we move to pass this, that we're adding $50,000 back to the $75,000 that we said we did not want to pay in attorney's fees.
$115,000.
So,
hold on.
okay.
Who would like to be recognized? You got another person out here?
I want to answer that if I could.
Well, then ask to be recognized, then I'll recognize you.
Recognize me?
Yeah, raise your hand. Go ahead.
Carolyn Callery.
Just to be clear, the same rules have to apply to everybody.
That's
right?
fine.
So I'm not trying to be hard on you.
No,
I'm
no.
trying to, be
You have a legitimate, you have a.
fair to everybody. Go ahead now.
Just to be fair, yeah, we would, the select board, if we needed to defend the town, and if we needed an extra $10,000 to do so, we could go and utilize those funds. Yes, it's needed. It's beyond me that everyone wants to keep cutting everything. So we're gonna have a lot of town meetings probably, because monies are gonna come up and we're gonna need money. So just putting it out there.
Thank you.
Mr. Moderator?
Yes, sir.
And also, I would like to speak to this too, because when we have town meetings, there's a significant cost to have a special town meeting, just so everybody's aware. And this slush fund, if you cut this too, we have stuff coming in that we need to have money there to defend this town properly. Or we might as well just throw our hats in the air and say no.
My concern is that those items aren't on this list of things we're here voting on today.
It gives us.
us.
I'll let you answer it, and then I don't want to debate this anymore.
I'm gonna sit
I'll
down.
recognize somebody else.
I'm good.
Go ahead,
I think
ma'am.
I've expressed my concern.
It allows us to appropriate money if we need to, so that we're not delaying things and making it more of a cost factor. It just gives us basically some money to work with. It's been in all the warrants of all the years that I've lived here. There's
Okay.
always been some slush fund.
Okay, now I'm going to recognize somebody else. I think there's 2 or 3 people here. I'll recognize this gentleman. Were you finished? Ma'am, were you finished?
Yeah, I'm good.
Go ahead.
So 16 and 17, $115,000. I want to amend this to state that if this money is dug into, you need to report to the town for anything.
I think we approved that with the motion we made earlier on the other side.
No, this is a whole different item.
Well, it's still in this, it's any funds with lawyers. You specify any funds with lawyers. You want to know after, what was it, 20,000?
25,000.
The articles both say that any expenditure would be voted on at a select board meeting.
Exactly. That's a
So-
last sentence.
Okay, perfect. Sorry, my bad.
Mr. Moderator,
Yes,
can I
sir.
speak? The world we live in now is a lot different than it used to be. Everybody is so happy is the truth. And it's not like it was 30 years ago when a handshake went a long ways. The world has changed so much, and we as the Board of Selectmen who have to deal with this stuff, we don't know when somebody's gonna come at us sideways. It ain't like we're up there searching for lawsuits to get into. I've lived here my whole life, and I'm not for lawsuits, but the world we live in now, you've got to be prepared for it. And if you're not, what do? We have a special town meeting, bring it up every time, and it costs what? Letitia, what's it cost for a town meeting? About $5 grand?
Yeah.
It's about $5 grand. So that's a waste of $5,000 every time you do that. That's why we put these in here, and you guys voted us in as board members to protect this town and do what's in the best interest of the town. And I would hope that you would think that we would do that here on this board. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm going to recognize you first, and then I see you down over here.
Michelle Strike, I just have a comment. All this happens in select board meetings. What, first and third? Tuesday of every month? A lot of these questions that everyone's having tonight, a lot of the comments that everyone's having, these have been talked about in the past year at these meetings. And if you can't make these meetings, the minutes are posted and the videos are posted. So if you're worried about what the select board is going to spend, you can go to the meeting and there's a place for public comment where we can all discuss it and make sure everybody is doing things for the best interest of this town.
Okay, I want to focus this again on Article 16 and 17, which is to appropriate respectively $50,000 from the undesignated fund for unexpected expenses or emergencies, and to appropriate $65,000 from the undesignated fund for unexpected personnel emergencies, in each case during the upcoming fiscal year, and in each case to be voted on in a select board meeting. Now, on those articles, is there any more discussion?
Mr. Moderator,
I
can we move the question?
I recognize that after you recognized her, so.
Okay.
So one of your, the selectmen said that this is in every year's budget.
Every year since I've been
And
here.
I'm curious, has it ever not been used, all of it? And if so, what happens with the money that you did not use to spend?
Any money would go back into the undesignated funds, but there's been years that we didn't spend it all, but this year, no, we used it.
We used it this year.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, now, did you want to move the previous question?
Yes.
Did someone?
Yeah, I want to move this question.
Okay, so, is it second? Okay, this requires a 2/3 vote. It cuts off debate on the consolidated Articles 16 and 17. All in favor of cutting off debate, raise your cards. Thank you. All opposed, raise your cards. That passes by 2/3 vote. So now we're ready to vote on Articles 16 and 17 as written. All in favor, raise your cards. Thank you. All opposed, raise your cards. Thank you. Articles 16 and 17 both carry. Article 18, to see if the town will vote to authorize the select board to carry forward to the 2026-2027 fiscal year and assign fund balances accordingly, any appropriated but unexpended account balances at the end of the 2025-2026 fiscal year as they deem to be advisable, and any such transfer is first approved at a properly called public select board meeting. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? Second. Any discussion on Article 18?
I'd just like to clarify something, Mr. Moderator.
Yes, go ahead.
This is for money that you guys voted for to spend. It's already earmarked. We're just rolling it over, and it's accounts that already got spent. And we have a huge amount in road reconstruction, $150,000 that we need to spend on our roads.
Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor, raise your cards. Thank you. All opposed, raise your cards. Article 18 carries. Article 19, to see if the town will vote to authorize the select board to transfer funds from budget accounts that have unexpended balances at the end of fiscal year 2025-2026 to budget accounts that have overruns at the end of that fiscal year 2025-2026, provided that any such transfer is not more than 5% of the funds appropriated under the fiscal year 2025-2026 municipal budget, and any such transfer is first approved at a properly called public select board meeting. Is there a motion? So moved. Is there a second? Second. Any discussion? Let's vote then. All in favor, raise your cards. Thank you. All opposed, raise your cards. Thank you. Article 19 carries. Article 20, to see if the town will vote to fund the Branch Duckers Snowmobile Club with funds received from the state snowmobile registrations, plural, refund. Is there a motion? Is there a second? Second. Any discussion? Let's vote then. All in favor, raise your cards. Thank you. All opposed, raise your cards. Thank you. Just by way of reminder, if anyone in the non-voting section raises their hand, if you really want to speak, I can. For those in the non-voting section, if you wish to speak, unless you're a town official, we're going to have to vote to have you speak, which we can do. If you are a town official, you need to let me know, since I'm not from Sebago, so.
Didn't we vote at the beginning to allow them to speak?
If they're officials, yeah, we don't need to vote. If they're officials, not anybody. But now it's all been approved, so I hope I hope that's okay. Article 21, to see if the town will vote to pay for tax abatements plural, and applicable interest granted during the fiscal year of 2026-2027 from overlay. Is there a motion?
So move.
Is there a second?
Second.
It's on the floor. You'll see the explanation of that accompanying the article, but that's not part of the article itself. Any discussion on Article 21? Seeing none, let's vote. All in favor, raise your cards. Thank you. All opposed, raise your cards. Thank you. Article 21 carries. Article 22, to see if the town will vote pursuant to Title 36, MRSA Section 506, to authorize the tax collector or treasurer to accept the prepayment of taxes not yet committed. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, raise your cards. Thank you. All opposed, raise your cards. Thank you. Article 22 carries. Article 23, to see if the town will vote to establish an interest rate of 7.0% on delinquent property tax bills and establish property tax due dates as the first Thursday in November 2026 and as the first Thursday in May 2027 for 2 equal payments. Is there a motion? Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Merritt and I tried last year to reduce this. I'd like to try again to reduce the amount. I'd like to amend it to say 5% on delinquent property tax. That is more than the bank will pay us in interest. So 5% instead of 7% on delinquent property tax. Why kick somebody when they're already
Let's get a second
down?
before you speak on it. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Is there a second? Now I'll recognize you.
Again, why would you kick somebody when they were down? I'd like to amend the 7% to 5% on delinquent property tax bills, and the rest remain the same. I just don't see fit. You get more money this way than you would putting your money in the bank. So that's my recommendation.
Any further discussion of the amendment? Okay, so now we're going to vote on the amendment. The amendment would reduce the delinquent property tax interest rate from 7% to 5%. A yes vote means you're in favor of that downward amendment. No vote means you're against it. All in favor of the amendment, raise your cards. Thank you. All opposed, raise your cards. We're going to have to count these. So I'd like to, do you normally, I can count or you can get the ballot?
If you normally count, I'm fine with that.
Okay. Let's, all in favor, raise your cards. Let's do it this way. Let's do the desk first. Of the amendment one, then this side. I'm not going to be able to count it. We're going to have to get the clerks to do it. Sorry.
Bobby, Joe, can you take one side and Evelyn the other side to count, please?
And then which one is going to take the front here?
Evelyn's going to come this side. Bobby, Joe's doing that side.
What about here?
Bobby, Joe, did you get Richard Merritt? Evelyn, how many did you have on, pardon me?
15 and 24.
Okay.
15, was it 15 then?
24 and 15.
So 39?
Yep.
So, okay. All right, now if you're opposed to the amendment, raise your cards. Use the same counting procedure.
Evelyn, if you can count. I got it.
I got 7 plus the board is 4, so 11.
So the motion carries by a vote of 39 to 30. The amendment carries. So now we're on the article as amended to 5%. Any further discussion? Okay, now we're voting on the article as amended. The article with the interest rate being 5% instead of 7% as originally proposed. All in favor of the article as amended, raise your cards. Thank you. All opposed, raise your cards. Thank you. It carries. As amended. Article 24. To see if the town, small type. Article 24, to see if the town will vote to authorize the select board for and on behalf of the town to execute quitclaim deeds of the town's interest in any real estate acquired by virtue of matured tax liens and to fix the terms and conditions thereof using the process authorized by 36 MRS section 943-C, provided that if the former owner does not request that the process or the select board is unable to sell or list the property as required by 36 MRS section 943-C, the select board may sell the property through a competitive sealed bid process in which a notice advertising sale of the property shall be published at least twice in the newspaper of general circulation in the county. For sales other than to the former owner, excess sales proceeds as defined in 36 MRS section 943-C shall be returned to the former owner. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
A second. It's on the floor. Any discussion? Seeing none, we'll vote. All in favor, raise your cards. Thank you. All opposed, raise your cards. Thank you. Article 24 carries. Article 25. To see if the town will vote to authorize the select board to sell or dispose of surplus town-owned personal property, something that remains above what is used or needed, including vehicles and equipment under such terms and conditions as they deem advisable. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor, raise your cards. Thank you. All opposed, raise your cards. Thank you. Article 25 carries. Article 26, to see if the town will vote to authorize the select board to apply for and accept state and federal grants, grants from nonprofit organizations, donations, real estate, and certain federal funds, including trust funds or other revenues, on behalf of the town for municipal purposes, including when necessary, the authority to sign grant contracts, documents, and/or other paperwork, and accept the conditions that accompany grant funds, and to appropriate and expend grant funds, and/or other funds for authorized purposes as the select board deems in the best interest of the town during the fiscal year 2026-2027. Is there a motion on Article 26? Is there a second?
Second.
Article 26 is on the floor. Any discussion? Let's vote then. All in favor, raise your cards. Thank you. All opposed, raise your cards. Thank you. Article 26 carries. To see if, Article 27, to see if the town will vote to authorize winter maintenance, snow and ice control, and include 2 gradings, one in the fall and a second in the spring on the public easement roads, subject to the approval of the select board. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Article 27 is on the floor. Any discussion? Let's vote then. Did you have a discussion, ma'am?
I have a question.
Go ahead.
What's a public easement road?
Can I?
Yes, go ahead.
Public easement's a road that is owned by the landowners, but the public easement is, they come to a town meeting, they sign, we vote it as a road that we're gonna maintain. So all we do is winter maintenance, they buy the gravel on the public easements, the landowners buy the gravel to maintain the road, but all we do is plow winter maintenance on it, and we grade it twice a year.
Any further discussion on Article 27? Let's vote then. All in favor, raise your cards. Thank you. All opposed, raise your cards. Thank you. Article 27 carries. Sir, do you have a question or concern? Would you like to come to the mic? Are you a town official, a resident?
He's a town resident.
Come to the front and we can hear you.
want, what we go,
Dave,
50 years, maybe tell me, I want water, I don't, man, 50 years, man, tell me yes. Man, no. What you want me to do?
Davey, can I ask you, you want water as in a bathroom and water at the dump? Okay. That's in the CIP that we voted on earlier as an enhancements. We are aware of the situation there, and we will be trying to work to get that for probably the following year, to come up with some kind of plan to put in a small drainage bed and a well and stuff, and get it so there's water there. You're welcome, David.
Thank you. We're on Article 27. Any further discussion? Seeing none, let's vote. All in favor, raise your cards. Oh, we did 27. Oh, I'm sorry. I recognized it right after we voted. My fault.
28.
Sorry, thanks. Just speak up if I blow it. So, Article 28. To see if the town will authorize the select board to enter into boundary line agreements with abutting property owners to establish the boundary line of any property of the town, including the boundary lines of the rights-of-way of roads. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Okay, it's up for discussion. Any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor, raise your cards. Any opposed? Thank you. Article 29. I'll accept the motion to adjourn. Yes, sir?
Motion to adjourn.
Yes. Second? Second. And I will take that by acclamation unless there's an objection.
I have one objection, I have a statement.
No, I'm not going to recognize a statement.
It's a pretty comprehensive plan.
Sorry. So we're adjourned.